got a T-shirt with bloodstains all over it. Maybe laundry isn't your biggest problem right now.
I remember the day the candle shop burned down. Everybody just stood around and sang happy birthday.
And a security guard came over and said, "You're gonna have to move. You're blocking the fire exit." As though if there was a fire, I wasn't gonna run.
You make love to the right woman, Johnny, is beautiful, beautiful. I mean, the last time I made love to my wife, it was ridiculous. Nothing was happening. I looked at her, I said, "What's the matter? Can't you think of anyone either?"
I never learn, you know, like a waitress will bring my meal. "Hey, enjoy your meal, you too!" But you don't have one, do you? I'm a doofus. If you do eat, enjoy it when you eat it. If you have a break or something later, if you get an opportunity, that's all I'm trying to say. That's all that I'm driving at, really.
Hello, welcome to Comedy Think Tanked, a podcast with Leonard Kimball and Nick Gordon, two comedians who know how to take a drink and have a thought. Sit back, get comfortable, and enjoy. Now, whether they're ready or not, here's your hosts, Leonard and Nick.
I've had multiple people like shocked, wide eyes shocked at like our stickers on my mugs.
Oh, really?
At, like CBU and Gritty's. It's like it's kind of crazy. Like they're like, "Oh,
you do a podcast?"
Yeah.
Yes, you haven't heard of it?
Yeah, I'm freaking famous.
Yeah. Within a 2-mile radius.
Yes.
I've had people. I've had some people pretty like they're like, "Oh wow, cool." I don't know if they go and listen.
Mm-hmm.
I feel nervous, not nervous, but like awkward about going up to them after and saying like, "Did you listen? What was your favorite episode? Of the favorite, what was your favorite moment in your favorite?"
Yeah, what was your favorite? So you should vote on the best of.
Yeah.
We had the best of survey.
Yeah.
I assume your favorites will be on that list.
I assume.
We should have brought us in. We should have just this should be our conversation.
This should be fine.
Yeah.
No, we can do whatever we want.
Yeah. Welcome to the Comedy Think Tank podcast.
Yeah, we've been talking for 5 minutes now. Glad you could join us.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're gonna do that, right? We're gonna have a best of.
Yeah, I think we should.
I think. Yeah.
I think it's
I think we've gotten to that point already.
What is the title? I thought it'd be like the 2021 extravaganza episode or
Cavalcade of
cavalcade.
Comedy Think Tanked. Trickery. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
We'll come up with something cool.
We'll come up with something.
Something original.
Okay.
Speaking of names, of naming things.
Yeah, what do you want to talk about naming things? What?
I just want to say I have no beef with anyone in this world.
Uh-huh.
I try desperately not to.
Yes.
So when someone does bring up an issue with something that we've done, I think we're still in that mode of like we're just trying to build. So we take it more as constructive criticism rather than like someone trying to, bring the heat on us or
right.
Throw shade or whatever the kids say, right?
Yeah, Grandpa, they say throw shade.
I don't know what the fuck they say. I don't know what it is, but that's what it feels like. It's like someone's trying to like, put their thumb over the top of you and say like, "No, you can't do this."
Right.
And it's like, well, okay, fine. We'll just change course.
Right.
And I have no issue with that whatsoever. I think we both are in agreement on that.
Yeah, absolutely not. I'm perfectly fine. Like, yeah, we'll just change it. Whatever.
We'll just change. we'll just adapt and overcome. And right. I mean, is that not the best way to live in life?
For sure. Yeah. Just like everyone's going down the same river of comedy. Like we don't need to, battle each other. We all want to be successful. We all want everyone to have fun.
Right.
We don't want to step on anyone's toes. We don't want anyone stepping on our toes. And
yeah. Like karma, right? If you project good things into the world, then good things will come back to you, and all that happy horse shit.
Yeah,
Right?
happy horse shit.
Happy horse shit. So I think that's the name of our next podcast.
Yeah, we should grab that domain name. Happyhorseshit.com is got to be taken.
It has to be. It has to be, and it probably is somebody that has horses. It's like Happy Horse Shit Dude Ranch.
Oh. It's like it's out in Nevada.
Yeah, it has to be.
It's legal there. Yeah.
It's legal there. I've never been to Nevada.
They had really good horse shit there.
Speaking of traveling, you're heading out soon to Chicago.
Heading home to Chicago, for my 30th high school reunion.
That's crazy, huh?
Yeah, we're gonna get drunk.
Of 3 glasses of wine.
No, all these guys are pressing 50 and with bad knees, and we reserved like the back room of a bar that's near our high school, so we don't have to walk very far, and we'll close that down. So last big reunion for us, we donated enough to win some rectory that's nearby, because I went to a college prep.
Yeah,
I went to a Jesuit college prep, St. Ignatius college prep, and they gave us the rectory for the evening.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and they didn't like how long we stayed, so they were like kicking us out at like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning.
Anything with the word recta in it, usually you don't like any amount of time over the certain amount of time is too long.
Yeah. So this time we didn't have an option at all.
Interesting.
No option at all.
They're like, what's your year?
Class of 91.
Class of 91's coming back again. Oh no. Oh no. Close the rectory. Bar the doors.
Lock up the communion wine.
Jesus Christ. Oh shit. Well, so that's good.
Yeah, it'll be fine. I'll be there for a week, and I'm going to try to hit some open mics.
Yeah. Have you confirmed any comedy? Or are you just going to
I'm the worst.
Show up, go
I'm the worst. Like, everyone's telling me, like, email, and I'm like, okay, yeah. And then and I haven't done anything yet. Even last night, Casey Crawford said, you have to email this place, like, right now, and try to get on something.
In order to get a spot, you got to, like, that far in advance? Is that what he's saying? Or
Yeah. He was like, it's like you can't just show up and, he said there are lots of people who are local, who show up for a spot and don't get a spot. So especially since I'm coming out of town, I need to email them to say, hey, I'm coming from out of town.
Yeah,
I'm only in town for a week or whatever.
Please.
I don't want to, just sit there and then walk home.
Yeah, exactly. Will you also attempt to take in a comedy show at an actual comedy club and do some reconnaissance work for us?
Oh yeah, and like try to poach somebody. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I guess I probably should.
I mean,
I should plan out this trip better. Like, I need like an assistant or something.
Yeah. Can we hire an intern? Don't see anybody.
No.
Well, no. I was thinking in terms of just seeing how the big boys do it, because in my research of comedy, Chicago comes up quite often as far as Second City goes and other comedy clubs and whatnot.
Yeah,
I've never been for comedy, but it'd be neat to see it firsthand. But
yeah,
anyway.
I think I need to get like a Google spreadsheet out and plan every day. Plan my evenings and until the actual reunion.
Just see what you can do.
Yeah.
Because we've taken over a rather big room here in town, and rough first week, but
yeah, Craft Brew Underground. It's like it's an awesome place to do comedy, but it's still so stressful producing shows.
It is, and now it's weekly.
Yeah,
and now we're actually selling tickets and to every show and watching the counter, the ticket counter. For the week goes 0 Monday, 0 Tuesday, 0 Wednesday.
I was hoping that if I press refresh 100 times, that would Like, that would give me like, one ticket sale. Like every 100 times I hit refresh, it'd be like one sale. So like, I'm just working like to like take up the sales a little bit.
I don't know what the secret is, but we're gonna figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fully confident that we're gonna continue to build there.
Well, I guess one thing is to make sure we're just putting on a good show.
Yeah,
it was a great show last night.
Yep.
So it was fun.
Yeah.
Everyone was there, was laughing. I got a little tipsy towards the end of the evening.
Beauty.
Yeah. And because I don't drink beforehand. Well,
Yeah.
I had like half a beer before going up.
Yeah, but
yeah,
as long as you had fun.
Once that show was over,
Those beers and ciders go down quickly.
Yeah.
I think the ultimate goal, though, is to get it to where our guest, Keith Hebert, is in his group, the Portland Comedy Co-op, and how they have established themselves at Lincoln's in Portland.
Right.
And how, I think any Thursday night you go there for an 8:30 show, I mean, there are people already there. There are people coming in. The place is almost always just packed, just jam-packed with people.
Yeah.
And it's such a great little venue for comedy, and they have a nice thing going there. I think that's the ultimate goal. And lucky for Keith, I mean, he's been accepted into that group and is part of the the booking and the producing of that show, because it is successful, and happy to see that for him.
Yeah, happy for all of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of putting out good karma into the world,
yes,
and whatnot, I really enjoy the folks down there and the co-op and going to shows and doing shows at Lincoln's.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's kick it over to Keith Hebert.
All right, let's do it. Oh, I have to do that, right? I have to kick it over.
Yeah, you will.
All right. When I edit this later.
When you edit it,
okay.
It's gonna be.
Wouldn't it be silly if I just like played the audio of the interview right now instead of editing it?
If you just cut it in there, like all of a sudden.
No,
or if we're just you had it recorded.
Yeah, because it's already recorded on the computer.
We could talk over it. We could do a director's cut.
Oh, like Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh, that'd be fun.
That would be the worst thing ever to do. Like talking over the audio of an interview.
You've watched DVDs, right? You say, okay, I'm gonna watch Lord of the Rings, but I'm gonna do the commentary on it.
Yeah, but it's like you can't talk over audio. Like if that's the primary way of consuming the product, you can't just like. Yeah, but at least with a movie, you're looking at what's happening, and you make commentary on the stuff that's happening. Like, look at the way she's holding that coffee mug, that sort of thing.
In post-production.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying. So it would just be people talking over people talking over.
Right.
And we were like, I can't understand. Someday
Nick and Leonard are so new to podcasting. They've just now figured out that they shouldn't talk over themselves talking over themselves.
That's like the time that they recorded over their wedding video with Karate Kid 3. This isn't the wedding. This is Karate Kid 3. We have 2 copies of it on DVD. Why did you do that?
Drum technique, understand?
Oh my God! No, that was Karate Kid 2.
Oh yeah, you're right. Karate Kid 3 was the one with the bad boy with the Terry.
Yeah,
the ponytail guy.
The ponytail guy, the rich ponytail guy.
Oh, and Daniel LaRusso was a bit of a badass for half the movie.
Yeah, he tried to be a badass.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the first Karate Kid, and the second one made sense.
Yeah,
like they kind of went together. It was like one, they really, it was the same. Even though Ralph Macchio was clearly far older in the second one than in the first.
Oh, okay, yeah.
To look at his face and like he was clearly now a man.
Right.
And now the Karate Kid TV show,
the Cobra Kai.
He is elderly almost.
Actually, he's about our age.
Is he really?
Yeah, isn't he?
No, I think he's much older.
No. How old is he? He's got to be
What year did Karate Kid come
He's like 50? He's got to be like 50.
50?
I don't know.
He looks 70. Let's look him up. Too bad we don't have devices where we can actually.
All right. How old is? See, normally my phone is listening to me all the time, and it would have.
It would have just jumped in.
Holy shit! He's 59.
59. See?
Oh. Yeah. Never mind.
Yeah.
William Zabka is 55.
He's really good in Cobra Kai.
Yeah. He was really good. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, he did an interview with Mark Maron.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I listened to that one.
That was a good one.
Uh huh.
Yeah. I try to listen to a lot of Mark Maron. I think that's good for us to.
What did Tim Farrell say? That our podcast is like Mark Maron but different.
yeah. But not. Sorry, we're trying.
This is a long intro.
I think
This is gonna be fun to edit.
Yeah. Sorry. Why don't you hit stop and we'll do an outro.
Okay. Bye.
Welcome, Keith Hebert, to the Comedy Think Tank podcast. Did I say it right?
Yes, you did.
Good. We'll cut that part out. It's really hard to say. You have to say the K in the back of your throat. That's what I've been told.
Comedy Think Tank podcast.
Wow,
He's got it.
That's so good. First try.
Mm-hmm.
First try.
I love it.
I think I'm just awful.
You've been replaced.
Yes.
Keith, how long you been a comedian?
The first time I did comedy was 2006, but I only did it once that year. It was for a contest.
Oh, yeah?
And then I did it again for the same contest a year later at college.
Oh, cool.
But then I didn't do comedy for like 4 or 5 years because I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know where to do comedy.
Right.
I was kind of like wanting comedy to come to me as opposed to looking for it.
It's like you walk out your front door and there's an open mic.
Yeah.
Oh, this is cool.
Well, that's
Someone's got
that's
the mic stand
basically
right here. The lights are going.
Yeah, that's basically what I wanted. I wanted that to happen, and that's kind of eventually what happened because I saw someone post about an open mic on Facebook, and it was the first time I ever saw it, and I was like, oh, I should go to that.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
after you had already done it the first time.
yeah.
Okay.
This was probably 5 years after that.
So that first time you did it, you didn't think like, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to keep doing this. Like,
Well, I
someone
wanted
should stop me.
to, but I just didn't know. I didn't know where to do it.
Okay.
And and it's funny because I ended up meeting some comedians. Well, they're like improv people. I met in Southern California. I lived in Southern California for a little over a year. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll do comedy when I move out there. I'll try it out. And I met these guys, and this one guy was telling me, like, oh, you got to go do open mics or he didn't even say do open mics. He actually never mentioned open mics. He goes,
Okay.
Here's a couple clubs. And he was like, the Ice House, the Comedy Store. He's like, go there.
Wow.
And I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for that. Because I was like looking at the lineups and it's like Joe Rogan and like, I mean, he obviously wasn't Joe Rogan who he is now.
Yeah, this
is 10 years ago, Joe Rogan, but he was still like, I knew who he was from TV.
Yeah.
But it was like, okay, well, I don't feel like I'm ready to be on the same stage as those comedians. So that was pretty bad advice, I thought. And I just want to go to an open mic somewhere.
Yeah. So were you like San Diego, Southern California? Or?
I was in Huntington Beach.
Okay. That's like part of LA, right?
It's actually part of Orange County.
But like when you say Comedy Store, like you're talking the actual...
The LA, yeah. There's only one.
I thought there was...
Oh,
anyway.
There's a La Jolla one. That's in San Diego. Yeah, I'm stupid. Yeah.
No, it's all right. No.
It's okay.
It's okay.
I wasn't trying to catch you in a lie or anything like that.
Bald-faced lie!
There's only one.
I was just trying
and then I
to
was
figure
like,
out
wait, no,
location.
there's like
So
four, I think.
That's like the legit spot for comedy on the West Coast, though. Like,
yeah, the Comedy Store. And then I drove by it a couple times, and I was like, there it is. Like, there's all the names. Like, that's pretty crazy.
yeah.
My name should be up there.
All those people were in that building, and I never actually went to a show when I was living out there.
Oh,
wow.
I did eventually go, like, on a trip maybe 5 years 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I went and actually saw a show at the Comedy Store.
Nice. What was that experience like?
It was awesome. I saw in one night, it was like Nikki Glazer, Andrew Santino, Joey Diaz, Steve Simone, Jeff Garland did a set.
Nice.
Ron White did a set.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
the people that are regulars there. That's awesome.
It's nuts
so cool.
that you can just go.
You get to see those guys as regulars, like
on a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
They're
Okay.
there. They do 15-minute sets.
Yep.
They just do. It's just showcases.
Okay.
And you get to see the biggest names in comedy for I think it was like $20 maybe, like 15 or $20.
That's so cool.
With
That's
like
amazing.
a 2-drink minimum or 2.
Oh no, I have
minimum.
to drink alcohol.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So that was awesome, and I actually at one point I went to the bathroom and I came back and I crashed into the table that Nikki Glazer was sitting at, and I was so embarrassed. And not only was I embarrassed, I crashed into someone's table. Then you look and it's like the comedian you're there to see,
Yeah.
and you're just like, oh, I'm such an idiot.
Hello, hi.
But I didn't.
Sorry.
I wasn't like, oh my god, I love your comedy. Oh my god, I can't believe it. I just said, oh, I'm an idiot. It's so dark. And she's like, yeah, I know. And she's like, I did the same thing like 5 minutes ago. I was like, okay,
Okay, cool.
I'm not totally stupid.
Wow, you're just like Nikki Glazer.
That's
awesome.
funny.
We're all just like Nikki Glazer.
We
All of
are.
us.
We're just a little less hot.
No, we're all just as hot.
Speak for
Oh, are we?
yourself.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I did some crunches this morning.
Did you? Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
I
That's
watched.
great. So flash forward to today. You've recently been anointed a new member of the Portland Comedy Co-op.
Yes,
Yep.
I have.
What? Don't make fun.
Hey,
You guys
do you
are
know how
fun.
I'm
much?
not making fun. It's awesome.
Oh, okay.
Do you know how much goat's blood I had to drink to get in there?
Gallons.
And then afterwards, they're like, "You didn't need to drink any goat's blood."
Your belly was all
Why did you
distended.
even bring
I was
that?
like, "I have a bucket of goat's blood. I need to drink it. Please make this part of the ceremony." I'm a jerk.
You've ruined
Freak.
everything.
Yeah, I ruined the co-op already.
Yeah.
I've been in there for like 2 months maybe.
That's awesome.
And it's already a mess.
What's the structure like though? Like what does that mean to be part of the Portland Comedy Co-op now?
Oh, we just have a group thread where we say bad things about all you guys.
Oh, sweet.
So
I knew it.
It's really you get the password.
The Leonard
and
Kimball thread.
You get to see all the desperate comedians sending their 5-minute clips.
Yeah.
And it's a
It's
joy.
like a Gmail password you used to.
Oh yeah, no, I can get in there and I can watch all the clips of all the straight white guys that want to have a spot.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
I'm so
it's-
glad I'm not a straight white guy.
Yeah,
You're lucky.
no, it's cool.
Yeah, but so you're part of the booking process.
I'm actually not really.
Oh, okay.
Like I can definitely suggest. I can like if there's someone who I think we should get on. That's maybe like a bigger, not like a bigger name, but like
someone
maybe
you've
like
seen,
someone
though.
who's
Yeah, we know what you mean.
who's in New York City at the Comedy Cellar.
Yeah.
And doing paid work and gigging and stuff. So we have an audience.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yay, audience.
That's wonderful.
But don't bother me. Don't
ask for
message me.
spots.
Don't email me about getting on.
Like Keith is like preemptively stopping people. Like,
Yep.
don't. I'm tired. My Facebook
No, I
Messenger
won't.
is blowing
You're
up. Like,
good. No one sent me a message, and I would like to keep it that way.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So that's how I operate.
all right. No, but it's awesome. Congratulations, and
Thank you.
You guys, the Portland Comedy Co-op are they're all great, and it's great what they're doing in Portland.
They have one of the best rooms ever.
Yeah, Lincoln.
At
oh
Lincoln's.
my God.
Lincoln's is it's a gem.
Yes,
For sure.
It's fun, generally packed, and weekly. So what's better than that for comedy?
You can't
Yeah, I
beat
know.
that.
I remember showing up like 20 minutes before the show, and they were like, "Oh no, we're already full."
They're like, "Oh, you're on the show? Not
No.
anymore."
No.
Not anymore, jerk.
Sorry.
You were late.
I should have gotten there 30 minutes soon. Okay.
Now the guy that cleans the urinals is going to do 5 minutes.
And he did a better job.
Yeah. And he did a better job. Which, by the way, Nick, you left before we paid you, buddy.
I know, buddy.
And guess what?
Uh-oh.
Just for you.
No.
Wow.
Just for you right now on the podcast, live.
Oh, you have a big foam check for him? Whoa. Oh, my God. Is that American money?
Oh, what is that? Oh, is that the crinkling of Andrew Jackson
Oh.
right there?
Wow.
Oh.
America's favorite president.
This is real. Look at that. Thank you so much.
Wow. Okay.
That's from the
appreciate it.
co-op.
No, I appreciate it.
That's from the Lincoln's the show.
Thank you. I had to
deserve
leave
that.
because I had to go to work the next day.
We all had to work the next
I know.
day.
I
You
should
didn't
said-
have to leave.
No, I know.
You
I'm
did.
sorry.
Nick's old. He's got to get up
Yeah.
in the morning.
Next time
Did
I
you
will
leave?
stay.
Did you see my set?
Yeah, I did see your
You
set,
did
yeah.
see. So you only there was 20 minutes left.
It was literally
you were
20
like, You were
minutes
like,
left. I'm like, I just can't do it anymore.
I can't do it.
I'm missing Matlock.
I'm such a baby.
I have to think about what I'm going to make for lunch for my child tomorrow.
What? So let's go back to Thursday night. You got up on stage, or just as Rachel was announcing you, like 10 people walked out.
Yeah.
Do you see that sort of stuff, and does that throw you at all, or are you just totally fine with?
That didn't throw me until one of the people walking out comes up to me and goes, "Did you know that a police officer died today?" And then he just leaves. And then he just leaves with that information.
And go.
I saw
he
someone
didn't
say
even
something
wait for
to you.
me to reply or have a comment.
He didn't
I
even wait for your punchline?
I didn't know a police officer died.
Holy shit.
I didn't know what was going on. And he just leaves me with that. And I'm about to go on stage and I'm just like,
What the fuck?
I have to pretend he didn't say that because
Yes,
I
you
have
have
to.
to.
I'm supposed to go up there for whatever 12, 15 minutes and be funny. I can't be thinking about
my
dead
God.
police officers while I'm on stage.
I thought maybe it was somebody who knew him. It was just like, hey man, break a leg or whatever.
No, it was some guy who was just trying to mess me up.
This was you're like 30 minutes into the show at this point. They're like,
we were an hour, almost an hour in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, okay.
And he gets up to leave and then I'm just waiting to go on. I'm like, yeah, clapping, getting ready, getting amped to go up, and he just goes, "A police officer died today," and then he walks out. I'm like, you're a dick. Why?
Wow.
That reminds me, like we interviewed Billy Jack and Billy had a good one, and he said, like, what good did you expect from what you just put out there? What were you expecting to happen right now? I'm just going to throw this out there and just walk out the room. And
No,
I
it's a
hope your show goes-
bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to bum me out over here?
Yeah, this is a comedy
I'm
show.
trying
It's
to
like
do
just for fun.
I'm trying to
Right.
go up there and talk about my genitals, and I'm trying to do this. And I don't want to think about death until I start talking about death.
Right, exactly. I want to bring up the death.
I decide when I'm going to talk about death.
Wow, that's
So I
great.
didn't talk about
I wouldn't have had any idea. Like I watched your set and I have no clue. Like you didn't let on at all that you had just been struck with a.
No, you have to let it go.
Yeah, that's true.
It's weird because sometimes some bummer stuff can happen to you.
Yeah.
Right before a show or earlier that day.
Yep.
And there's just something about doing stand up you just kind of can forget about it.
Yep. Yeah. You get into that
It's-
tunnel of like.
Yeah, it's good because you're when you're on stage, you are in the moment.
Yep.
You really are. You're not thinking about anything else. And if you are, you're probably not a very good comedian because you're not in the moment.
Right.
And if you're not in the moment, I don't think you can do good comedy.
I totally agree with you. And something that we've noticed about you is how good you are at crowd work.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I don't do a lot of crowd work.
Now I beg to differ. I've watched you a few times recently, and maybe it's part of your act, and you're just doing it so well that I am completely fooled by it. But it feels like you're doing a bunch of crowd work, and you're working off of things. We did that Project Graduation show.
Oh yeah.
Up there at the football field.
No, I didn't. No, that wasn't part of my act. For sure.
like
anything that's when I talk to people, I'm not like I don't have like something preloaded.
Right.
Really, but.
So I say you're very good at crowd work.
Okay, well,
then.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
That's nice.
So you're just hoping for something good to happen when you started your crowd work?
I don't know. I think what it is I probably picked it up from my dad of like any kind of silence is just it's uncomfortable. So I think I try to fill in the dead air with something that could be funny. Just how I grew up. I don't know.
Interesting. So your father was the life of the party, or was he just a...
Well, he would just be like, he asks questions like in public. He'll ask people like who like work at a store. He'll ask them a question that he knows the answer to.
Like, where's the pretzels?
Which is totally annoying. I mean, and I make fun of him for it, and we've talked about it. Yeah, like we're at the pretzel stand, as me and my dad often go to. And excuse me, do you have pretzels?
Do you put salt on your pretzels?
Do you like to salt your pretzels, sir? Like it's just something to fill the air.
Interesting.
Or like I remember one time we were in like a Barnes and Noble, and they had like Kindles for sale.
Yeah,
and he goes up to a guy and he grills the guy on Kindles for 20 minutes. And I'm just like, after he was done, I was like, were you going to buy a Kindle? He's like, no, I was just wondering about Kindles.
Just
like,
curious.
Why? I mean, I guess I would never do, I guess I do stuff like that sometimes. Like one time I was in a Best Buy and they had like a little display where you could put a picture on a blanket. Like it would be,
get it printed on a blanket.
Yeah, print it out, but it's like with whatever. It's like threaded, whatever. They make it, and it looks like the picture.
Right.
And I was with this girl I was dating. Like it was a new relationship. It was like 2 weeks, and we're in Best Buy together, and I'm just like, I'm gonna ask this guy about this blanket, and like. I'm like, we should get one of these blankets. And she's like, what? I'm like, no, this is going to be cool. So I get the guy over and I'm like, hey, how much for one of these blankets? And he's like, oh, let me just check. I'm like, well, how much for this one? I want this blanket with this picture of this family and the dog on it. I just think it's a cool blanket. And I just did it totally deadpan, like I was totally dead serious. And he was like, I don't think we can sell this. This is the display.
This came from corporate.
Just see if you can ask. Just ask your supervisor.
Yeah, is your manager
and then
available?
But thanks, Dad. You know, that's kind of don't mess with retail. It sucks working retail. I've worked retail.
Oh, for sure.
I know. I've worked a lot of retail.
Every time I go through the line at the grocery store with my kids, I'm always asking the cashier if she wants to buy my children. It's like, why am I doing that?
You always do that?
Yeah, it's like, it's constant. It's like, oh, you want 2 kids? They're for sale. You know, it's like, what? Stop it. Stop saying shit like that.
No, it's so dumb.
Stupid.
Well, that's actually,
But there's that silence in between people, and you feel like, oh, we should have some sort of conversation here.
Yeah.
Like we're doing a $100 transaction. Like we should have some rapport.
I gotta say some joke here.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Do you have a hard time not saying a joke? Do you have a hard time not messing around, fucking around? Because
no, I'm pretty good at knowing when I should and shouldn't do that stuff.
Yeah.
From screwing up in the past.
Sure, absolutely.
I've messed up a lot.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've learned, off stage.
Sure, absolutely.
That lesson of like when not to say when not to say the joke about the ugly baby. You know? Because maybe someone has an ugly baby and they know it and they don't want to.
Yeah.
They don't want to talk about it.
They deserve to laugh too, though.
They should laugh.
Well, they should. Speaking of babies.
Yeah.
You got a baby coming.
Something like that.
Yay.
You think?
Yeah.
I mean,
you
don't have to talk about it if you don't want to, but Leonard and I are both fathers.
Yeah.
And if you need any advice.
You want to give me advice?
Well, no, we don't want to, but we just don't remember a time before children. Because once the kid comes out, once the kid comes, right? We've never talked about this before, but once the kid comes out, your mind goes blank and you reemerge
I think
as a dad.
I must have been in college. I don't know. I don't remember a time before kids now.
Right.
Yeah, this is odd.
Really?
Yeah.
Seriously.
That's what happens?
Swear to Christ.
Why is that? Why?
Because your whole outlook on life just shifts all of a sudden. You're like, I got to fucking take care of this.
Yeah, but why does nobody talk about that?
Great question.
I've never heard.
I think I just realized it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, it's something I've thought of over the years. It's like I have 2 kids now. Daughter's 13 and son's 10. And 13 years ago, when my daughter was born in September, 13 years ago, it like my mind erased. I swear to God. And then I reemerged as this, like within seconds. Uh-huh. And I'm like, now I'm the father of this thing. Like, what the fuck?
You had a scruffy beard and crazy hair.
I did.
Like, immediately. Okay.
Yeah. We had like 24 hours of labor, and like I was a dad all of a sudden, and nothing else previous to that moment mattered.
Wow.
Yeah. The whole thing it's very unexpected. we didn't plan to have a kid, but we're excited for it.
Yep.
You know, and we talked about, obviously we've been together for 13 years now.
Oh wow.
And we talked about, you know, if it ever happened, if we would have the kid, and we were like, yeah, we'll have the kid if there's ever a kid. And then now there's a kid, so we're having the kid. So that's about as easy. It was an easy decision. Like, we knew.
Oh, you mean we're gonna have this thing? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh
I
no,
guess
we're
we'll have
having
it.
this. We're having this kid. Like that's. So it was scary for. There was like, I remember 4 days. For whatever it is, the first 4 days after finding out I was gonna be a dad was like the most intense 4 days, because it's really all you think about. It's every moment of those, like you can't be fully in the moment, as we were talking about, but it's like, I just remember, but after that, like I'd wake up, I'd open my eyes and I would immediately be like, you're going to be a dad. Like it was like every morning, which is, it's not fun. It's not a cool way to wake up, where like you have this panic of like, I'm going to be a dad. Like,
Are you panicking, or are you like thinking like, oh, I gotta make sure I gotta baby proof something, or I should paint something, or get rid of that lead over there, or what?
Well, yeah, no. Well, it's funny you say that, because we have a bunch of lead in the house. That's just, it's all over the place. We just have lead.
You still have time.
Lead stockpiles that like are small, like so babies can just eat the lead. But
yeah,
it's actually in Gerber cans. I don't know why.
Yeah, no, they're like, here's a ton of lead. It comes with the house. You don't have to have it. We were like, we'll take it.
We don't have babies, so
it could be used, come in use
You're
later.
just gonna throw it away. Just keep it there. I'll take it with the house.
But yeah, but then after it's weird. After the panic goes away, like you're like, oh wait, no, this is gonna be good.
Yeah,
this is gonna be fun. Like there's just so many of my friends are like the people that are like, oh, we're not having kids. It's just we're not going to do that. We're not interested. People I know that got married that aren't going to have kids. I'm just like, why are you getting married if you're not going to have kids? It's like, why even get married anyway? Like, I don't get
why get married, period. But yeah. Like,
it's like,
if you're not going to start a family, like,
we weren't going to get.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. You guys are looking at me like, wait a minute.
Well, you started a family, so it's whatever.
I started a family.
But I'm just like, if you're not, I don't know, Amy and I aren't married. 13 years together, we're not married. Like, we're engaged, but we never set like a date or anything. But now that we're having a kid, it's like, oh, well, maybe we should just like put it on the books.
To make it official.
Yeah, just make it official.
Let's book it.
To make it. But I think we'll just go do the City Hall thing.
Yeah.
Can we join you and celebrate?
You want to join me?
Yeah.
We could do it on a Thursday, and then I'll go to Lincoln's after.
Yeah.
You think that's a good idea?
No, probably not.
No.
We'll bring a mic in the speakers.
Because I was married once. So probably not.
And this is where I just grill you on divorce for 20 minutes.
Well, you're not married yet, so don't worry about divorce.
I'm not going to worry about it.
No.
13 years.
13 years is a long time. That's a highly committed relationship.
How long were you with?
I was married for 10, and I probably was with her for 13.
Oh, yeah. So this is you're telling me it's almost over?
I wasn't going to say it's almost over. I'm thinking it is over.
Wow.
The baby comes out, and you're served with a moving truck instead of divorce
great. We bought a
papers.
house. We actually bought a house a year ago, and we moved in. Tomorrow will be 1 year that we've lived in our house.
Congrats.
Cool.
And so we actually had a room that is perfect for a kid. So it all kind of worked itself out.
Sweet.
Oddly enough.
Well, we're very excited for you, because it's nice to have another member of the Fathers Club.
The Dad Club.
The Dad Club.
No, I've already been telling worse jokes. And,
I hope you're putting on weight because
I'm getting no. It's true. You do put it on. I don't know why, but yeah, you do.
I think it can be attributed to that. The worrying you have now, the anxiety you have now, but then once that kid's born, like just the having to have to take care of this thing, and like once she starts eating, mac and cheese, like you're finishing the dish, and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, little weird things like that, or you're eating fruit snacks for meals. It's like it's not healthy.
You have to demonstrate how to eat things to
I'm
people.
like, I remember eating fruit snacks for meals. It was fine.
Yeah, but you were 12. Now you're in your 30s. All right, that's enough of parenting talk.
Okay.
Speaking of heavy metal, you mentioned lead before. You're in a band.
I am in a band.
What the fuck's up with that?
Segue.
Yeah, I'm in a band. I've been in a band for about almost as long as I've been taking comedy seriously.
Yeah.
So like 6 years now.
You're a guitar player in the band?
Yeah.
The band name is Objet. Did I get that right? Objet?
Yeah.
And you told me the other night you guys are performing your first show post-pandemic.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Coming up.
We have a new bass player.
Oh.
Yeah.
Where are you going to perform?
Playing at Portland House of Music.
Cool.
On Thursday, September 30th. I don't know if this will be out by then.
Well, I better hurry.
We'll
it's
try.
Okay. It's fine.
Well, either way.
We'll let you know how it went. Leonard will edit in right now how it went.
It was awesome.
What's the difference between playing in a band and doing comedy? How do you approach those two things? I mean, this could be an hour-long conversation in itself, but
it's a good question because it's like, I need attention, so let me be a lead guitarist, and then also let me do stand-up so I can just be on stage and be, getting attention all the time.
Well, there are elements that you've memorized, I suppose, in both performances.
Well, music's pretty. Depending on the kind of band you're in, most bands aren't improvising, live.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously, there's improvised stuff in some types of bands, but no, we're not.
Also, when you guys lean into each other when you go on the guitar and the other guy's on the bass, you're like, yeah.
No, I don't lean into my
man.
other band members because they're very sweaty.
Okay.
And I don't like to get other men's wetness on my body.
seems like a pretty good standard to live by.
I like to keep men's sweat off of me whenever possible. It's
don't knock it till you tried it.
Okay. All right. But it's the band thing. It's really hard. Being in a band and like keeping it going is so hard because you have a bunch of different personalities, which it's not an issue in my band. We're all pretty easygoing, so that's not the issue. It's
all right, cool, good save.
It's like it's more of like the availability of like people. You have to get 5 people on the same page every time you practice
for a couple hours.
Every time
right?
you have a show,
because this isn't your professional life. Like people are.
Yeah, everyone has jobs, and
right.
Everyone has beards they need to manicure, and this that's music, and we're pretty laid back when it comes to promoting ourselves. We're not great promoters for the band. Like we practice a lot. We rehearse. We try to put out good albums. We've put out 2 albums, and
feel free to plug.
Yeah, what name your albums?
There's an Objet. There's an album called Inanimate, and then there's another one called The Space That Binds Us.
Nice.
And they're both available all over Spotify and Apple Music and all the.
Can you actually buy them in stores? Like
you can buy them at Bull Moose. Yeah,
nice.
There's CDs.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and so those were produced by John Wyman, who's a really good Maine music producer. He actually produces some national artists.
Sweet. And
it was mastered at Gateway Mastering, which is where Bob Ludwig works, and it's like him and Adam Ann, and they're like 2 of the best mastering people in the world, and it just so happens that they're in Portland, and they hook up local artists who want to get their stuff done there by like a huge name. So like the guy that did our album also has done like Foo Fighters.
Wow.
And who else? So Nirvana, I think, Tool, in the same building.
That's really wow.
So I'm totally ignorant of this, but what is mastering? What does that actually mean?
it's this process they do to the recording after it's mixed. Like after it's like, okay, I like where the guitars are, I like where the vocals are, I like where the drums are. They've decided where all that stuff goes, and they like the way it sounds. Then you turn it over to the mastering people, and it's kind of like they kind of polish it all. There's like a lot of equalizing they do, and they change, and then there's like fades. They might do like they fade one song into the other a certain way and make it sound on par with other things that you'd hear like on the radio. Like it just makes it sound real. It's that little last finishing touch that makes it sound very professional.
Okay, because I've seen albums come out for like
remastered.
Yeah, things that call like, this is remastered. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I'll listen to the remastered version of this because I don't know what the
remastered is like when you jerk off the second time in the day.
Hey, now this is a clean podcast.
It was. That's cool. No, I'm not a musician either, but I've always heard that Portland's like the place to go for these.
It has been. Yeah. I mean, I'm in a metal band, so it's not a big metal scene. There's a group of people that definitely like metal, and come to the shows and stuff, but people want more easy listening, nothing that's loud and sometimes abrasive, like because we're kind of like if you like Black Sabbath and Tool and Mastodon, some of those type of heavier bands, like that's the kind of band that I'm in.
I've definitely listened to my fair share of Korn and Tool and whatnot. So
yeah, well, you might like us. We're riffy. We do riffs, a lot of
nice
little riffs, and our singer he's a really good singer. He doesn't do like the screaming stuff. He does a lot of.
He actually sings.
He's actually singing singer.
That's cool
for metal. So that's kind of neat.
Something a little different.
Yeah,
check that out. All right, let's get back to comedy.
Yeah.
What's your joke writing process?
Usually I if I think of something, I'll just put it in my notes on my phone.
So not paper.
Not usually. Sometimes paper.
What do you mean? Like what you're actually writing down on?
Physically writing it on paper?
Yeah, use technology.
Sometimes.
Okay.
I've had success both ways, but I think out of pure laziness, it's easier to just use the phone because you don't need it to use your phone. Like you don't need to go like find your finger in the other room.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
or you could even just record your voice.
You can do that too. It's all right. So it's really just the lazy man's way of writing.
How often do you go back to that stuff though and use it and work on it?
I think when I'm. It's usually like if I think of something and I'm really excited about it, I kind of just like write some jokes on that premise right away. That's like it's rare that I write a little note down and then like a week later I come back to it and I'm like, oh yeah, this is good.
Right.
But typically when it's brand new, I'll try to come up with a few punchlines for it, and then I'll go do an open mic, or if it's a show, I'll mix it in the middle of my set somewhere where I know that I just had a strong joke and I know I have another strong joke following it. Just that's kind of like the classic comedy trick where if you want to try something new, you don't just like throw it in necessarily at the beginning or the end. Sometimes I do open with it. If I'm really jazzed about the idea, I might just, I'm so excited about it, I have to get right into it. Yeah. But if it's more high stakes, I don't typically make that decision.
All right. So you write things like when you start writing something, you immediately start writing a bunch of punchlines with it.
I'll write some.
You don't just put down the topic and then come back to it weeks later.
No.
Okay.
Like if it's a straight up open mic, and I know you've seen me do this, where like I remember I think the last open mic I went to that you hosted there at Gritty's was I did like 5 minutes on grandfather clocks, and I know that eventually work that down to maybe a minute.
Right, you'll get a really good minute.
Yeah,
out
I'll
of that.
find like a minute or a minute and a half of that. But that's fun. It's fun to come up with like a topic that you never hear a joke about. Like who's talking about grandfather clocks? It's just such a dumb thing to even bring up on stage.
They barely exist anymore.
Well, that's why I wanted to talk about it. I don't know what. Oh, you know what? It prompted me to think about it was like I was watching an interview with Flavor Flav. And he's like about 100 years old now. I don't know if you've noticed. He's extremely old, and he should be in like multiple wheelchairs. He's so old. And so Flav has a clock around his neck. Right. He's still
to this day.
He's in 6 wheelchairs, and he has a clock on his neck. And I'm like, this man's neck is going to break from the weight of this clock. Like,
that's why he's in the wheelchairs.
And I'm like looking up at my wall, and I'm like, that's the size clock that Flav wears around his neck. And I'm like, how absurd can we get with this? And I was like, what if he had like a grandfather clock around his neck? And then I was like, wait, what's up with grandfather clocks at all? Like, why does anyone have a grandfather clock? And I was like remembering like these times on like sleepovers with friends where like I don't know, you go to a kid's house and their parents would have a loud clock that went off every hour
in the middle of the night.
And
you're like, what the fuck has happened?
And you're like, it's like ding dong, ding dong, and you're already in someone else's scary house. Probably in their basement. It's usually where a good sleepover happens in a basement.
Absolutely, yeah.
But and so I was like, what's up with these loud clocks? Like, is it really necessary? And even like beeping like watches, like just shut up. Like I don't need to hear your noises.
We just need you to find out what time it is.
If I wanted to know what time it was, I would walk over and look at you.
Right. Wear your stupid wear a watch that's silent, or look at your phone, which you are probably already looking at when you check the time because you're just an idiot when you're wearing a watch and you have a phone in your hand. Just pick one.
Yeah. I wonder if there'll be grandfather phones.
That's a good
I'm not
dad.
helping.
That's a good dad premise.
Yeah, see? Hey, what about grandfather phones? Nokia.
But yeah, I was thinking of all kinds of dumb lanes to talk about grandfather clocks. Because that's the thing. It's like when you're doing stand-up, you don't want to talk about a topic that everybody is already talking about. That, I mean, sometimes you can find a cool angle that no one else has really thought of. If you've really got one that's like if you've got a pandemic joke that no, this is so weird of a thought that I have to share this, fine, right. Cool. But if you're taking on a premise that's been just beaten into the ground, like, unless it's a very personal experience, it's hard to come up with anything new on one of those kind of premises.
Right, like doing political humor or anything that's in the news currently. It needs to be the best.
So then when I think of a premise like grandfather clocks, I'm like, no one has grandfather clocks jokes. I can
immediately you're top
that's
tier.
Only me. I have the best joke immediately. No matter how bad it is, it's the best grandfather clock joke.
Cornering the market on grandfather jokes.
I'm texting my friends. I'm like, do you know any grandfather clock jokes? And they're like, no,
definitely not.
No one wants to hear about this.
That's funny.
So where do you see yourself going with comedy? Like, what are your goals? Like, what do you want to do in the next 5 years?
I think I want. It's tough because I think all you really want is to just progress. So if I were to say I'd progress, I mean, hopefully I would be headlining regularly, doing like a half hour or more. Usually. Yep. That's kind of what I think you want to progress towards.
Right.
And if that involves, traveling and people are willing to pay you, then that's great. And I'm not afraid to move. Like if I had to, if some really cool opportunity came up, like I wouldn't be afraid to move.
You would move to Auburn?
I would literally move to Auburn.
All right.
If the right opportunity was here.
To be closer to
for
Craft Brew
comedy.
Underground?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you ever performed in like New York City or LA now? Have you gone back?
I've performed in New York City before, but not anything like that I would ever want to brag about.
Sure. But
like it's just like I've done
experienced
a
that.
couple of shows. I know what it might be like to be like doing shows there all the time, and it's crazy. I don't know if you've ever been
No, not yet. No.
to New York City
Something
in the comedy scene.
No,
we
never.
want to do.
But it's really it's motivating because you realize how small the comedy world actually is.
Yeah.
Because it's weird, like we kind of, I mean, like, I don't know. I work with sometimes I get to work with comedians that have worked with like I'm like what are you, third tier?
Yeah.
Where you're not working directly with the big comedians.
Right.
But you're working with the comedians that work with
The people
big
who open
comedians.
for those comedians.
Yeah.
and you're like,
yeah.
wow.
That's kind of like, that's kind of almost immediately though. Like that's how small the comedy scene
Right, good point. And
is.
that's the main comedy. Like those guys are our headliners here in Maine. The
Sure.
people that open for these bigger names. That's
or
kinda where we're at.
do sets at the Comedy Cellar, and or like the Stand in New York. And when you go to New York City and you go to these comedy clubs, you just see big comedians. They're just all over the place.
They're just there.
And it's like it's inspiring because you're like, I'm like standing right next to, Yamanika Saunders, talking to Yamanika, or like talking to, Greer Barnes, or, these people that are just hanging out, and they're regular people. They're not dicks. They're nice people.
Yep.
And they'll talk to you, and you're like, oh, like it's a lot of work to get to where they're at for sure, but it's inspiring that, they're right there.
Yeah.
They're you can ask them questions if you want to annoy them.
It's an accessible, experience where you can actually have these people and this access.
And
to
they're
them.
right there.
Right.
They're hanging out. You get to see them, and they're all working on it too. Like you're trying to come up with new material. That's all they're doing is trying to work on new stuff. And like with comedy, you kind of have probably like 10 years to come up with your first hour.
Right.
But then you have about 6 months to come up with your second hour after that.
But
hour.
but you think about all the stuff you have that you throw away that you can put into that second hour.
Except you know why you threw it away, right?
Well, that's true. But once you're established, I don't, whatever. I'm just grasping at straws.
No, and
I want it to be true. I want it to be true that it's that easy.
Yeah. But there's so much that you throw away, and for good reason.
Right. But
like my best jokes a year or two in, I would never do now. I would just because it's like, no, I'm not going to go there anymore.
How much did you do it, those particular jokes, when you were just starting? Like, were you doing those for like 2 years on, or did you
churned through jokes a lot more when I was newer. Like I didn't really stick to anything right off the bat. Like I would churn through stuff like after 3 or 4 months of a joke, like I think it was done. Like I would just go try to do something else.
Okay, that's amazing to me. Like I've done, I think I still do on stage jokes I've done on the very first time I got on stage. I mean, it's only been 3 years for me. Thanks.
Wow.
I'm just kidding.
Just Nick Gordon burning Leonard Kimball on
That's what we do. That's actually
podcast.
What this is about.
It's just all a setup to burn Leonard for doing.
It just makes me feel better about myself.
The day he started comedy 3 years in.
Fine, I'll get rid of all my jokes.
I'm just kidding.
No, you know what? That's a good. That'll make you a better comedian if you literally just throw everything away. I mean, you don't have to throw it away permanently, but just retire it temporarily. Send it on a vacation.
Okay.
And then just start all.
See you in a week.
Just say, hey, you know what? Yeah, 1 week. Do a 1 week vacation where you just do new stuff, or for 1 week, and then you'll see. You'll be forced to write more stuff, and you'll be forced to improve your stuff, and you're only getting better if you're trying at comedy. You're not your first jokes aren't going to be your best jokes.
And if they are, you shouldn't be here.
You should quit.
Yeah.
You should quit.
No, I do appreciate that. I think that's good advice. I think I could just like put my jokes on a 1 week vacation. Or like, if I'm doing like hosting sets right now. Like, so if I'm only doing like 4 or 5 minutes, if I just did 4 new minutes and a hosting set, and if it goes poorly, then I can always eject and go back to my normal stuff.
Just try to have one joke that you feel really good about, and do that one last. But other than that, like, just do new stuff. It's because, like, you just have to realize you're a better comedian now than when you started. So there's no way this newest stuff's gonna be worse than the first early stuff. You know, it's just like, I don't know, that's one of the most frustrating things about watching comedy right now is like all of these people that I know that do stand up, and how we're still relying on stuff that they've done over and over again. And I mean, that's why it's like, okay, that's fine. It's getting laughs. It's doing well, but like, are you getting better from it?
Yeah.
No.
How are you growing? Yeah.
It's.
I feel that actually personally, because I feel like I get good laughs with the stuff I do, but I'm not trying hard enough to.
But I remember
cultivate.
when you started, and I don't remember. I don't think you do any of those jokes anymore.
No, definitely not. Yeah, I've grown in respect to that, but like recently, the last year or so, well, it's been tough. We've had.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a weird.
I shouldn't beat myself up too much.
No, it's been a weird year and a half.
Yeah.
But yeah, because like during the like, I did maybe 5, 6 sets.
Yeah.
From March 13th till like November.
Did you do them on Zoom or did you do them live?
I tried. I did a couple of your open mics, and I couldn't do it.
What? They weren't fantastic?
They weren't
the best thing ever?
They don't accomplish nearly what being in front of an audience accomplishes.
Right.
Yeah, I heard that.
There's a delay.
It was.
People turn their cameras and mics off. They're like,
people listen to Jeopardy.
They might be in another room, just
dogs barking,
touching their dog. I don't know what they're doing, and so I couldn't. The first one was really fun, but afterwards I was like, nah, I think I'm good on Zoom mics. And that's all I'd heard. And I really wasn't planning on doing any of them. But then I was like, Leonard's hosting. I like Leonard. I'll do his Zoom mic. I'll see if it's any good. Maybe it's not so bad.
I want to see what his basement looks like on Zoom.
We definitely
you always use like a background. It looked like you were in a pharmacy or something.
The really bad library is what I always thought. It's the worst library ever.
Yeah, it's got D&D books on the back.
Leonard's a junior librarian by night.
Well, Keith, thank you very much for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
If you're familiar with how we like end our interviews, we do a segment called Curse the Darkness. So there's a idiom that goes like, I'd rather light a candle than curse the darkness. So it means like I would do something about my problems instead of just complaining about it. But instead of, in opposition of that, we like you to actually talk about something you want to actually complain about that you don't have any plans on actually burning any calories to actually fix.
Are you kidding me? That's everything. What do I want to complain about that I don't
that you don't
even want to
you don't
do
plan on
anything
fixing?
About? I want to say something that won't get me in trouble. I'll get canceled.
So far, no one's been canceled for this segment.
Can you give me one that you've heard? Which
22 episodes.
so I can get
in the bathroom, like the foaming soap thing. Like, why does it need to already be foamed? Like, I'm washing my hands, and like it doesn't matter. Like stupid shit that just like drives you nuts. That
okay.
I'm trying to think.
That you really can't change, or you're not going to do anything to change.
Right.
You should have. This is a good one to prep me with.
Yeah.
I have so many.
You know what you should complain about is the fact that we didn't properly prepare you for.
Yeah.
Do you live in Portland?
Okay. Here's one. I will complain how there's just not enough people working anywhere right now, and I'll never do anything about it.
Yeah.
Because I don't care. But I guess I won't
I'll wait an hour for a burger.
That's what I do is every time I'm like every time I go to a place that's busy now, and it's rare, but I'm reminded, like, you idiot. Why are you going to Chipotle?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Chipotle right now? Are you kidding me? I want to burn every Chipotle down.
It's 40 minutes.
It's
40 minutes for burrito bowl.
Burrito bowl, yeah.
They go, do your order online. Okay, it'll be ready at this time. Which
tomorrow.
Is like 15, it's like 15 minutes from when you place the order.
Yeah.
I showed up 20 minutes after that, and they were like, it's going to be an hour. That's basically what happened.
Wow.
Really? Well, this is what happened. I walk into Chipotle, and I'm just standing around waiting for my order to be ready, you know? And then after standing there for probably 10 minutes, the manager does an announcement. She's like, if you're waiting for your order, just get in line and we'll make it. And I'm like, well, then why didn't I get in line 10 minutes ago? You think I just like to enjoy the atmosphere of like 25 like white people with missing teeth, like looking for their burrito?
They don't have like a disco ball going and music and everything like that?
There's nothing fun about it.
I think
at
it was
all.
like dead silence. I got so mad, and I'm just like, can I just get my money back? And they're like, absolutely, just go to the Chipotle.
Just
whatever.
get in line.
Go to chipotle.biz and like,
oh my god,
go
Slash
and
refund, slash
talk
go
to
fuck
us.
yourself.
And so I go on there, and I do my complaint because I'm like, well, is this how you get your money back? I guess they want me to do a complaint. So I write my complaint.
It's a roll of the dice.
Well, I write my complaint, and then they email me like a half hour later. Oh, we're so sorry. You know, you're going to free burrito on us. I'm like, I don't want to go in Chipotle ever again. I'm never going to get this free burrito.
Just get in line and you'll get your free burrito.
I want my stupid money back. But so I called the Chipotle later on because like, no, they don't get to win. Chipotle doesn't get to win this, okay? They don't get my money for 2 burritos. And I talk to the manager because the guy, you know, they put the line cook on, and I'm like, I don't need to talk to you. You didn't do this.
Yeah,
let's
it's not your
talk to the
fault.
manager. So I Karen it up, and I'm like, and I wasn't mean to the guy. I was just like, just tell me what to do. I'll do it.
Yeah.
They don't even know how to do it. None of them know. They're like, oh, we're sending people to this website, and we don't even know how to use the site or where to direct them to the site.
Corporate
what
America.
to do on the site. So it took me like another 5 minutes of them screwing around until like, oh yeah, you have to talk to the essentially Chipotle's version of the Microsoft paperclip. You have to talk to that.
It's
that
a little
thing.
avocado.
Yeah. It's actually Pepper. His name is Pepper. And you have to talk to Pepper, and you're like, hi, Pepper. They fucked my order up. So,
I'm sorry.
And they're like, and
can
they're
I
like,
help?
what's your name? What's your social? What's your
credit card number?
How big are your wife's breasts? Like, what can they tell me that I... But they're like, what's the last 4 of your credit card? Where are you? Like, okay, you'll get your refund. So I got my stupid refund eventually, but man, they do make it hard.
That's crazy.
But then, okay, plug time. Super plug. Panera. Panera kicks ass.
Oh, all good for Panera?
Love Panera. I'm a anytime I think Chipotle, I've rewired my brain to Panera.
That's good.
Does Panera make burrito bowls?
No, but
Good Lord,
they
no.
make killer salads.
And a soup and a bread. Like they make a bread
soup,
bowl.
They got
soup.
fresh bread.
Bread bowl.
It's good. It's good. It's like a little pricey for like what it is. It's not that pricey, but it's like a little pricey for what you would think it should be. But it's good.
Yeah.
So yeah, big plugs to Panera.
Okay.
Sponsor of comedy think
I was
tank.
going to say we lost Chipotle, but we picked up Panera. So we come out even.
There's my yell in the darkness or whatever. Pet my dog at night or whatever this segment's called.
Very good. We'll rename it later. Don't worry. Thank you very much, Keith.
Thank you, Keith. We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it. Thank you, Keith, so much. We really appreciate it.
No problem.
It's Keith Hebert, everyone. Thank you. All right, that was Keith Hebert, incredibly multi-talented comic from Portland, also the newest member of the Portland Comedy Co-op.
And the guitarist for the band Objet. Check out both.
Yes, absolutely would recommend you check out Keith Hebert wherever he's performing.
Thanks again to everyone who listened. Tell your friends and follow Comedy Think Tanked wherever you can. Be sure to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Find us on Instagram at Comedy Think Tanked, Twitter at Comedy Tanked, and our website, comedythinktanked.com. Email us with your suggestions and comments at comedythinktanked@gmail.com. Have a great day.
Theme music was written and produced by a minor, Ralph Birgfeld. No comedians were hurt in the production of this podcast. All audio snippets of actual funny punchlines were not written or performed by any of us or our subsidiaries. Rather, they are express written bits of professionals we admire. Let the civil actions be filed. Any opinion heard, actual or implied, is that of the Comedy Think Tank producers and their guests. Any slight, insult, affront, slur, disparaging remark, snub, rebuff, rejection, or spurning, no matter how derogatory, pejorative, or abusive you may feel it is, was not intended, but for comedic, entertaining purposes only. Thanks for listening.
Very much. We're happy to have you on our podcast. Thank you very much for joining us. This was, hey, you messed up too. Hey, luckily, I'm editing this.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Hey, why are you being mean to me at the end?
No, he's being mean to himself.
No, Nick's making fun of me for flubbing words. Words are hard.